On your knees.
Now.
The room went silent so fast I could hear the hum of the air conditioner. Her heels struck the floor once, slow, deliberate. For hours, she added calmly. That should teach you respect. My name is Rhea Calloway. I'm 31, and until that moment, I believed dignity couldn't be taken from you unless you handed it over. The woman humiliating me was Lydia, my sister-in-law. And unfortunately for everyone in that office, she was also the director. I had corrected a budget discrepancy in a company-wide email that morning. Quietly, professionally. But Lydia didn't see facts. She saw disobedience. Look at her, Lydia said, turning to the open plan office. This is what entitlement looks like. I felt every eye land on me. Some curious, some uncomfortable. Most relieved it wasn't them. I didn't beg. I didn't argue. I slowly lowered myself onto my knees, marble biting through the fabric of my skirt. That's better, she said, smiling. As minutes passed, pain bloomed sharp and hot. My legs trembled. My pulse thudded in my ears. Lydia paced in front of me like a judge enjoying the sentence. You married my brother and forgot your place, she murmured, leaning close enough for only me to hear. I gave you this job. That was the lie she loved most. 2 hours in, my phone vibrated once in my pocket. I ignored it. At 3, Lydia crouched down, gripping my chin. When you stand up, she whispered, you'll be unemployed. Something inside me settled, cold, steady, precise. I slipped my hand into my pocket and wrapped my fingers around my phone. She thought this was power. I knew it was a mistake. People later asked why no one stopped it. The truth is simpler and uglier. This office ran on fear. Lydia hadn't become director because she was brilliant. She became director because she was related. My husband's family owned a silent majority stake, and when the previous director retired, Lydia slid into the chair like it had always been hers. Before I married into the family, I'd already worked here for 5 years. I built models, fixed leaks, saved accounts no one knew were bleeding. Lydia hated that part most, that I existed before her authority. Once she took over, the rules changed. Emails had to praise her. Meetings existed to applaud her ideas. Disagreement was treated like betrayal. That morning's email, the one with the incorrect budget, had exposed a mistake that could have cost the company millions. I'd thought she'd thank me privately. Instead, she chose spectacle. As I knelt there, I noticed something else. No HR manager. No legal officer. No senior partner. They'd all mysteriously stepped out. My phone buzzed again. This time I looked. One message. One name. And suddenly, Lydia's confidence made terrifying sense. The message on my screen was short. Is this happening right now? I didn't reply.
Not yet.
Because as I knelt there, something else finally clicked, the pattern. Lydia hadn't just been undermining me at work. She'd been doing it at home too. The canceled anniversary dinner. The jokes about how I married up. The way she'd whisper to my husband that I was too ambitious for a woman who'd been allowed into the family. This wasn't punishment. It was conditioning. Lydia stopped in front of my desk and raised her voice. Everyone, take a good look. This is what happens when loyalty is confused with ego. A few people stared at their keyboards like they might sink into them. One intern's hands were shaking. My knees were numb now, past pain into something hollow. Lydia checked her watch and smiled.
2 more hours, she said.
Unless you want to resign right now. That was the trap. If I quit, she'd rewrite the story. Say I was unstable, ungrateful,
weak.
I met her eyes. I'm not resigning. Her smile twitched. Just once. She leaned closer. Then I'll make sure no one else ever hires you. That's when my phone vibrated again. This time, it wasn't a message. It was an incoming call. And the name on the screen was someone Lydia had never imagined I could reach. The call kept ringing in my palm, silent but heavy, like a loaded weapon. I didn't answer it yet. Lydia noticed the shift before I moved. She followed my gaze, saw the glow of my phone, and laughed. Calling your husband? She asked sweetly. Tell him to bring ice. Your knees must hurt. A few people chuckled, quick, nervous sounds. She raised her voice again, savoring the moment. I want this burned into your memory, Lydia said. So, you never forget who decides your worth. Then she did it. She turned to the office and said, "Take pictures if you want. This is a leadership lesson." That was the breaking point. Not the pain. Not the humiliation. The permission. Someone's phone camera clicked. I finally answered the call and stood up, slowly, deliberately, while Lydia was still talking. Her words faltered when she realized I wasn't listening anymore. "Yes," I said calmly into the phone. "It's happening. Exactly like I warned you." Lydia's smile froze. I added one more sentence, quiet but precise. "You might want to come now." She stepped closer, eyes sharp. "Who are you talking to?" I met her gaze, for the first time from above her eye level. "The person," I said, "who decides whether you're still director in 20 minutes. And for the first time all day, Lydia looked unsure. My legs shook when I walked to the restroom, not from fear, but from everything I'd been holding in. I locked myself into the last stall and breathed through the tremor until my pulse slowed. I didn't cry. I opened my notes app instead. For months, I'd been collecting things. Not out of revenge, out of survival. Emails Lydia ordered deleted. Voice notes from meetings that crossed legal lines. Approval chains that proved she falsified reports and blamed juniors. I'd told myself it was insurance. Now I knew it was evidence. The man on the phone, Daniel Ross, wasn't a friend. He was the company's external compliance auditor. The one name Lydia never asked about because she assumed he answered to the board.
He didn't.
He answered to federal regulators. I washed my face, straightened my blouse, and walked back out. The office felt different now, tighter, quieter. Lydia was pacing, pretending nothing had changed. She stopped me. "You have 10 minutes left," she said coldly. "Then we're done." I smiled. Not wide, not dramatic, just enough. "Actually," I replied, "you have less." I went back to my desk, forwarded one email, then another. Time-stamped. Backed up. Verified. Across the room, Lydia's phone buzzed.
Once. Twice.
Her color drained as she read. And for the first time since she'd become director, Lydia sat down without being asked. The glass doors opened without warning. 2 men stepped in, one in a dark suit, the other holding a slim folder. Conversations died mid-sentence. Chairs scraped. Someone whispered Lydia's name. Daniel Ross didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "Good afternoon," he said calmly. "We're here for an immediate compliance review." Lydia stood up too fast. "This is highly irregular," she snapped. "You can't just walk in." "I can," Daniel replied, opening the folder. "And I already did." He turned slightly, just enough for her to see the documents. The falsified budgets. The altered timestamps. The email trail she thought no one had. I watched Lydia's authority collapse in real time. Her shoulders tightened. Her hands trembled. "This is a misunderstanding," she said, voice thinning. "Someone is trying to sabotage me." Daniel looked at her once, then at me. "Ms. Calloway already clarified that," he said, with receipts. The room was silent, heavy, electric. A senior partner arrived moments later, face pale. He didn't look at me. He looked straight at Lydia. "Effective immediately," he said. "You're relieved of your duties." Lydia laughed, sharp, hysterical. "You can't be serious." Daniel checked his watch. 17 minutes, he said evenly. "That might be a record." Lydia's eyes finally found mine. They weren't angry. They were afraid. Lydia didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She just stood there, breathing too fast, like someone who'd stepped off solid ground and realized there was nothing underneath. "This is because of her?" she asked, pointing at me, voice cracking. "You're choosing her?" The senior partner's reply was flat. "We're choosing the company." HR finally appeared, late, flustered, useless. Lydia was escorted to her office to collect her things. No one made eye contact with her now. Not the assistants who used to laugh at her jokes. Not the managers who nodded through her tirades. I watched from my desk as she emptied drawers with shaking hands. My phone buzzed. A message from my husband. "What did you do?" I didn't answer. Not yet. When Lydia came back out, box in her arms, she stopped in front of me. Her voice dropped low, venomous. "You think this is over?" she hissed. "You just burned every bridge." I stood up, steady this time. "No," I said quietly. "You did." She searched my face for triumph, for cruelty, anything to justify her story. She found none. Security opened the door. Lydia walked out of the office she once ruled, heels silent now. As the doors closed behind her, the room exhaled. But I knew something else was coming. Because humiliation doesn't disappear when the door's shut. It goes home with you. That evening, my husband came home unusually quiet. He set his keys down slowly. "Lydia called," he said. "She told me everything." I waited. "She said you humiliated her. That you planned this for months." He finally looked at me. "Is that true?" I met his eyes. Tired, steady. "I planned to protect myself," I said. "She planned to destroy me." Silence stretched between us, thick but honest. Then he did something Lydia never did. He listened. The emails, the recordings, the timelines, the kneeling. By the time I finished, his face had changed, not with anger, but shame. "She's staying with our parents," he said quietly. "They're furious, but not at you." A pause. "They want to apologize." I shook my head. "Not today." The next morning, I returned to work.
Same desk.
Same office. Different air. An interim director was announced. Policies revised. HR suddenly visible. And an email, company-wide, acknowledging unacceptable conduct and corrective action. No names. No drama. Just consequences. I touched my knees once, absent-mindedly. They didn't hurt anymore. Power, I learned, isn't loud. It doesn't need witnesses. It just needs timing, and the courage to stand back up when it's time.